Hi!
Hey.
You're upside down. You're on your sides.
Oh my God. Oh, there
There
we
we go.
go.
Ha!
Uh-uh.
Congratulations!
uh,
Well done. I'm so happy for you.
yeah.
How are you
Good.
feeling?
It's good. Yeah, no, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. I really am. It's slowly starting to sink in bit by bit, day by day, but it's good. It's good. I'm just happy with it. Really happy with the performance and stuff as well. So yeah, overall just good.
Let's talk to you because obviously, like, everyone is so excited about what happened. But let's talk about the whole week because it just looked so good. Like, I've watched all of it, all the backstage stuff. It was just so well put together.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Like as much as that first day when you get there and you get tested and you have to sit in a room and just kind of just wait in your room the whole day and then
Hmm.
get let known in the morning that you're test clear and you're free kind of thing or free to go out anyway. It's like that. You finally get to go out and see everything and see everyone there and like see the all the equipment and stuff they're there, all the media stuff. Just like anyone that's been asking me about it, I've just been saying it's like you're in the Big Brother house, but it's like all about boxing. So everyone there is just all about boxing. It's all the names you know, all the faces and stuff. So yeah, you're in your own little boxing world down there, but it's brilliant and facilities and stuff that Matchroom put on were unreal.
So obviously the setup with like no crowd and having to quarantine and all that kind of stuff, it's no one's ever experienced that before. It's brand new for everyone.
Mm.
So everyone's kind of on the same playing field. But in terms of like your preparation and mindset, how did this affect you? Or well, obviously it didn't affect you too much, but what was the kind of process?
It was just business as usual, or trying to keep it at least as much as normal as possible. Trying to make sure everything was just we did everything the same, and you just try and keep that regular routine and try not to let everything try and break your stride too much. There are little things like the food situation and like being without like a fridge and not being able to go to the shop and get the bits you need if you didn't bring them. Like once you're in the bubble, that's it. You don't leave the bubble until you're going to have your fight, and that's it. So anything you need and stuff, you have to kind of get someone either you take with you beforehand, or if you can get someone to drop it to you while you're there, then cool. But it's just about getting that prep in and making sure you've got everything you need when you're set
Hmm.
ready to go.
So who got to go with you? Who was kind of in your bubble, in your sort of team that went?
So I got my two coaches to go with me. Um, so I had one so I got there on the Tuesday. So I had one coach with me on the Tuesday, and then I had my other coach arrive on the Thursday. But he had to get tested on his own, quarantining in his room for the Thursday, and then he was allowed out on the Friday with us. So yeah, and then that's who we had there. And then I had one other member of my team that was allowed to go to the show as not so much a spectator, but just an extension of my team.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was it. Just me plus the three of us. So it was quite a small little tight knit group, but it was good, real good.
Is it hard to pick who gets to come, or was that all you needed?
That was it. There would have been a couple more. I usually have a good friend of mine, Phil, who usually comes with as well. And then photographer, if they usually come along as well. So that five is my usual number of people. So I wasn't too far off, but I would have liked to have a few more. But it is what it is.
So I know obviously through lockdown, we spoke during lockdown, we had you on for an interview and you were training away and doing kind of everything that you could do. So when the fight got announced or when you knew you were going to be added to the Matchroom cards, how long did you have really, like, and what kind of changes did you make?
I knew relatively far in advance, about seven odd weeks in advance. And then they were playing around with the date a bit. From what I initially knew, it got moved from the 24th to the 1st, which gave me an extra week, which wasn't a bad thing at all.
Hmm.
But I'd been training all through lockdown anyway, so I was halfway fit anyways. The only things I needed to do were just up the amount I was doing and then just add sparring. And so I was halfway home anyway, so I just made sure I was ready because I knew, especially with how things are, the call can come whenever. They can
Hmm.
we figured it. The show's going on in 2 weeks. Are you ready? And if you say no, I could have missed out on a great opportunity like I had on Saturday. So I just knew to stay ready, knew to stay on top of things, and then luckily the call came and we got things done.
Would you have said no? Is there any reason why you would have said no?
No, none. I could have one arm, no leg, and nothing. I'd still be going.
And in terms then of Simon, did you find out straight away that he was going to be your opponent?
Yeah, that was the one I always wanted. I always wanted that because that was already made beforehand,
Hmm.
before the lockdown, the pandemic, and everything. Before all of Fight Camp and all of that. That was what I was supposed to have back in December of last year, and I wanted to make sure that was the first one I come back to as well. That no one thought I was dodging it or skipping it or I didn't want it. So I made sure that that's what I said to Dill and what we spoke to with Eddie and stuff. That's I want that exact everything the same, same belt, same person, all the same. Just rerun it again.
Like, I mean, in the lead up to this fight, like obviously, a big part of, we'll say, the back and forth is, your white collar background, that you didn't have this extensive amateur background, and then you saying, you haven't seen like even a small bit of how good I am, and I need to be tested to show everyone how good I am. So, when you're saying like I wanted it to be Simon and I wanted to make sure that that was a fight that went through, is that something that kind of plays on your mind, that people are saying that about you?
Yeah, of course, because that is one of the first things that people make the not so much an assumption, but the comparison to is that he came from white collar. So and white collar has its own assumptions and traits and things that come with it that majority are negative. If you say, "Oh, I was from white collar," so people turn their nose up at you. They give you a kind of bad look towards it. So immediately, me then being attached to white collar kind of has those with me as well, which is why I felt like Simon was the ideal person for that because he's such a decorated amateur.
Hmm.
He's got ABA up to the walls, GB podium squad, Commonwealth gold medal. So he's the perfect person for me to, if people want to do that and pit that kind of white collar versus ABA, if they want to do that, he's the perfect opponent for me to say, cool, take your ABA guy and use me as the white collar guy. We'll go together and we'll see who comes out on top. And in that particular instance, I came out on top. And that's not to take away from ABA at all because it's a great foundation. All I wanted to use that to show was that you can come from a different lane, a different avenue, and still be able to compete with them ABA boys.
Hmm. Did you feel like you were the underdog going into that fight?
Um, no, maybe not so much the underdog. I feel like I feel maybe a few people thought, oh, he's in over his head now.
Hmm.
I think they thought that there was a lot of hype behind me, which don't get me wrong, there was. I'm fortunate enough to have a large backing, but to have Dill behind me and pushing me and to have fought on the bigger shows and stuff. So to have a bit of a name with that is a benefit. So don't get me wrong, there is a bit of hype behind me, but I just haven't had the opportunity to show that yet. And Saturday gave me a bit more of that opportunity to kind of do it against someone at a higher level as well.
Is it hard to kind of, I suppose, especially with social media, to stay quiet and to just let your fights do the talking? Because I imagine it's very hard when you have people that you don't know that are on Twitter, that are on the internet,
Yeah.
and they're commenting about you and your ability and your potential. They don't see you in the gym, they don't see you sparring. They just see the 15, 20, 25 minutes, whatever it is, in the ring. So is it a bit frustrating?
I think I've realised it just comes with the territory. It's not so much
Hmm.
frustrating. I don't mind it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not nice to see things about yourself, but what am I going to do? It is what it is. Everyone has their opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Have it. It's cool. No worries. But like, I'm a little bit petty in the sense that I'll remember, I'll remember those comments and things that people said during it. I'll go
you
back
got a
to
little,
it and be
you
like,
got a little.
so how did that work out then? Did that, no, that didn't work out how you said it would, did it? Me that won, I won, didn't I? So I'll have those little moments when I'm feeling a bit fiery or a bit feisty, but most of the time I just let it go.
So what you're telling us is you've got a little black book with everyone's
Yeah.
Twitter handles in it.
Right, so John 172 said this on August the 3rd. Okay, I'll go back to him.
It's not a bad idea. I might start doing that myself.
Yeah.
But obviously, like last week, with all one of the big things that Eddie wanted to kind of push when he was putting on the show, and he was very conscientious that boxing would only have been back. Obviously, we had Frank Warren the week before, but he wanted it to be this kind of spectacle and special, so that there was loads of footage, loads of media coverage, and you got to see kind of like 24/7 what was going on in the bubble and on Fight Camp and different things. So you had loads of sort of media obligations. You were kind of a bit of a star for the week, weren't you? They had you in doing everything. So how was that? Because obviously that's different as well for you on fight week, that kind of media end being amped up like that.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fun of it, of doing all like the camp pieces and doing the media days and the little interviews with the different outlets and the different people and stuff. It's fun. It's nice to be able to say my piece and have my voice heard and let people hear from me and hear that I'm not just some any guy from anywhere that doesn't know anything, that I can, like, I know about my boxing, I know about myself, I know about my opponents and this and that, and just be able to kind of speak my side is nice. It is a bit of a whirlwind when, like, you got to be here at this time and then there at that time, and then you got to come back later for one of these and make sure you bring that with you and blah blah blah. But it's, at the end of it, it's all fun, and it's nice to kind of watch back and have those kind of stored memories of the whole event where it's like, oh yeah, I did do that, and that interview was fun, and that was cool to do that little like sideshow we did, and blah blah blah. So it's all good fun.
Yeah, I imagine, like, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it probably feels like a bit of a haze or a bit of a sort of like, you know, weird, like, did that happen? Was I doing that? So in time, it'll be really good to look back on it and go, oh, remember that? That was like
Yeah,
so good.
especially with this kind of event that it was as well, like it being the first kind of big show back, and in like first bit for boxing to have a boxing show in the middle of a lockdown, a pandemic thing, just for this moment for boxing as a whole, for is a big bit of history for us now. So now to kind of have that to look back at is a great thing.
Did it look as cool as it did on TV?
They did. It looked so
Yeah.
cool. Like I literally, so I got there, put my bags and stuff to the change room, and then I was like, can I go look? Can I go see everything? It's cool. So I was just stood there on like a little stepway just before the steps where you see me when I do my ring walk, where you see me walk down. I was stood there for just not saying anything for just about 15 minutes, just looking around, just like soaking it all up and just going like, it's a real like spectacle. It is, like, hats off to Matchroom and Eddie and all them guys, because they really did put on a show.
Absolutely. Okay, in terms of game plan, did you stick to it? Did it work?
I did, yeah. So, for the most part, with my corner were happy with what we did and that with the plan. Like I said to a few different people and things, that they asked me what my game plan was, and I said, look, I'm going to chill for a bit. It's a 10-round fight. I've got time. So I'm going to take a few rounds. I'm not going to take them easy. I'm going to chill. I'm just going to do bits and bobs, find out where the gaps are, poke some holes, see what I can see what I come up with. And then after I feel like I've collected enough information, I've got enough data to use, I'm going to step on the gas a bit. And that's what I did. And the cameras didn't pick it up, but I did say the two things I was going to catch them with were either a straight right or a left hook. So it worked out quite well, but it wasn't the catch counter I went for, but it was still good.
So once you got out of the ring, celebrating, obviously do all the media stuff and that, who's the first person that you called?
I didn't call anyone.
What?
I broke
No
my
one
phone.
at all.
I broke my phone.
Oh, you broke your phone. You broke your phone. Okay, all right, fair enough.
I couldn't do anything. I didn't call anyone. I couldn't call anyone or anything. So my phone was broken. But if anything, that was quite a nice little blessing in disguise. It was nice to just chill with my team there, like us, have that moment together, and everyone just chill, go back to the hotel, relax, just enjoy it, and just like have our moment for all of us that was there, and have a laugh and a joke, and just kind of just soak it all up.
Sounds lovely, but your poor mom at home not being able to get in touch with you.
She was fine. She was everyone at home. They had like a massive projector up in the garden.
Oh, no way.
They had friends and family around and stuff. So that she was surrounded by friends and family and everyone to kind of keep her sane. But she was cool.
Good. Does it get, because obviously you know you'd said pre-fight and you had planned for the win. You get it. You get the belt. Obviously, your first professional title, English heavyweight title. Did you have a moment of, shit, I can't believe this has actually come true. I can't believe I've actually done what I've set my mind to.
Yeah, it was like near on immediately after the ref waved it off. And I realised I'd won. I was like, oh, cool, I've won. And I was like, no, Fab, hang on, you've won. Like, shit, no, you've won. Like, you got the belt, it's yours, you've done it. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, yeah, look what we've done. Like a half second where I was like, I just like kind of left and had to come back to that realization of kind of what I've achieved and what I've done and that. So yeah, there was that little half moment where I was kind of away with the fairies for a second. But
it's such a massive achievement considering, like, what is it, 5 years ago? You hadn't even like you started 5 years ago training.
Yeah, literally 5 years ago.
Do you feel like you've silenced a lot of critics?
I hope so. There's always going to be critics. There's always going to be someone with with a difference of opinion will say that that was an easy fight for me anyway, or Simon was overrated or whatever. Just that's why I was half annoyed, almost at myself, that it went the way it did, because I think I would have liked to have had a tougher fight where there were more questions I could have answered, or at least had the opportunity to answer those questions in the fight, where you can see how I react when I get taken with a few punches, or you can see what I'm like when there's a flurry of punches and I'm under a lot of pressure, or if it goes late in the rounds and we're in the 8th, 9th round, and if I've still got something in the tank and stuff. I wanted to answer those questions, and it would have been better if I could, but that's other opportunities for other fights. So
Well, as each fight goes on, we're kind of seeing a little bit more of you, you know, which is kind of refreshing, and it is quite interesting because I think the fans get to kind of sort of come along on a little journey with you as well.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, especially the ones that have seen your debut and have been with you all the way. It's like because we don't know what to expect, or because we haven't seen you in certain circumstances, we sort of have that to look forward to almost, you know, that kind of way.
yeah. I think as well, like, my progression's been quite incremental, which has been good because, like you say, you've been able to see them little improvements from when I've got better as the fights have gone on, and the tougher the opponent, the better I've looked, and that's what I've been saying to people. Like, you do get a lot of stick for fighting them lower level opponents, but you do need them to build. But I've been saying to people, like, look, the better the opponent, the better I am. I always rise to the occasion, no matter what the occasion is. I'll put my best self on it. So yeah, it's just looking forward to getting bigger fights down the line.
And let's talk about, we are seeing a lot more of you pre-fight banter as well. Who knew you had it in you?
Uh,
Whose idea was the handlebar moustache?
it
Because it
was
was
mine.
brilliant. It was brilliant.
I kept it to myself. The only person I told actually was my coach. I told him what I was going to do, and it worked so well because of the face mask.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah, yeah.
I put it on in my room, in my little hotel room. I put it on. I looked in the mirror and I spent about a good 2 or 3 minutes pissing myself. At myself. And then so I left the room. I put my face mask on, so it was covered, and I was walking around talking to people, and no one knew it was under there. So I was like, just saying hello, like, yeah. So I'm being all normal. And then obviously I sit up there and I just do like the little reveal, and I can just see everyone's faces like, what is this?
No, it was
Yeah,
brilliant. It was really good.
came off pretty well. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was it was really, really good. Did you have an exchange after the fight? Did you get to have a talk to each other?
We didn't talk. Immediately after. You do the general kind of spud the respect of, like, good fight, like whatever. Like, in the build up, and it is what it is. The build up, emotions are high. You feel certain ways, and it's all part of the game. Again, it just comes with it. But as long as once everything's done, everything's settled. If, like I said in some of my post fight interviews, that boxing to me is still a gentleman's sport. We go in there and we punch each other in, but at the end of that, we knock the respect, we shake hands, and we say, like, good fight, well done. So that's what we did, and it was cool, and that's all we needed between us.
Amazing. Good to hear. And also then we had Dillian Weiss on his little Portugal cam. That was brilliant. It was like, it just went so well together. It kind of made your fight that bit more special, I feel, because, you know, it was such an interesting element to have Dillian live watching it and his reaction to it. So when did you find out that that was going to be set up?
I think they told me a day before or so, or on the day, or however. I did know in advance of the fight. I knew he'd be watching regardless. Like, I just didn't know that obviously they were going to do the live thing until, like, just before, I think, the day of the fight, they told me. But I always knew he'd be watching. He called me the day of the fight and just said, look, do your thing. I'll be watching. I'll be obviously supporting and stuff. He said, like, I know what you can do, so just go out there and do it. And yeah, hopefully I made him proud.
Absolutely. So I know it's been like a week, but everyone wants to know what's next. Who are you eyeing up? Who's next?
I'm not eyeing up anyone in particular. There's been a lot of names thrown
Yeah.
at me and stuff, and which is fine. I'm not one to say no to anyone at all, but I'm not also one to gun for anyone. There's no one I've got any issues with, or no one I'm after at all. I'm just here to progress my career. So whatever opportunities come my way, however they may come, like, if there's a fight out there that looks good and the opponent's game, and we think it fits, then we'll go for it. I don't mind who it is, whatever level they're at. We're ready to push forward now. I think that's like I say, with Simon, that was my first kind of stepping stone to let people know that I can move at them bigger levels, them bigger names, them well decorated people. So I just need more of those fights now. So however they may come, I'm down for it.
Is it realistic that you might be on the white Quebec cards?
Nah, it's something we've spoken about, definitely. It's something we've spoken about, and it is an option. It is an option. It's mainly down to me if I want to, and if I feel the fight is right, and if I check with the team and I don't feel, and we as a whole feel like it's good for me, good for my career, and I'm not rushing anything too much because I don't need to. I've just been through a long training camp. Like I haven't stopped training all year because I trained all the way up until getting ready for the fight when it initially got cancelled this year. And then everything with the lockdown happened. I didn't take any time off in the lockdown. I just kept training anyway. Then the fight got rescheduled, so I went back into a full training camp. So literally all of this year, I've been training, kind of getting ready for a fight. So my body really hasn't had a rest. So we're just kind of weighing up if it's too much or too far to do again in a few weeks. But
Do you physically feel like you might need one? Like, does your body feel okay?
now I'm fine. I feel fine.
Well, you're going to say that anyway.
I always say that. It's just about what's the smart decision. Like, I'm
But
still
is it
relatively young, so there's no need to rush.
absolutely? Is it important for you to stay in shape? As in, we do see it's very common with professional fighters that they spend so much time in camp and fighting, then whether it's on the back of a win or a loss, they take a couple of weeks off and they get really out of shape. They don't train, they put on a lot of weight, and then they spend that next camp kind of getting their weight down, getting the fitness back. It seems like you're very different in that you kind of want to stay in shape consistently.
Yeah, because that was something I learned very early on. Like in my first maybe 2 or 3 fights, that was something I did. I had this mindset where you just train for your fight and then you disappear until there's another fight. And then that was what I did. And I realized after that, doing that then a few times, like you train so hard, you get yourself to such a level, and then you taking those 2 or 3 weeks off completely just resets you to zero, complete zero. You have to start again. So you can't make any real progression. You can't develop your body. You can't get bigger. You can't get stronger. You can't get faster, because every time you do get to that level again, you go straight back down to zero. So that was something I learned early on. So yeah, I'm key to staying in shape all year round now. Always in the gym, even whatever capacity it be, is just to make sure my body's switched on, that it's still working, everything's still functioning, everything's still firing. Whatever training it may be that I'm doing, I may not be doing crazy boxing training or crazy weights, but as long as I'm still there and switched on, that's the focus.
Amazing. There's a couple of questions in the question box. I'll have a look and see
I'm here for
what everyone wants to ask. Lots of Ipswich in capital letters. I think it's Grant Aiden has asked, what soccer team do you support? Do you have a football team?
No, Ipswich.
Ipswich?
Yeah, Ipswich, where I'm from. I don't really have a team that I follow like religiously, but if there is anyone I pay attention to, it is always Ipswich. So
good stuff.
And Kitchener FC.
And who? What?
It's a local Sunday team down here.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you properly. I don't know what you said there. Connor Hodgeboy 9876 has asked, do you think that you could take on AJ?
Yeah. Give me a few years. Let me get some things sorted. I think I could.
Absolutely. A good payday in it, regardless of what happens. Heavyweight News has asked, did Fabio have a Five Guys after his fight?
This Five Guys thing is going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no. I'm so surprised you haven't got a sponsorship yet.
Yeah, I know. I should. I need to message them. No, I haven't managed to get one yet, because obviously when I fight at the O2, there's one right around the corner, so it's perfect. I just run there straight after my fight. But no, there hasn't been one, so it's on the list. Don't worry.
What did you celebrate with food-wise after this weekend? Did you get on good?
No. What have I had? I haven't had anything crazy, to be honest. I haven't. Weirdly, I haven't got mental at all. I went out for a meal last night with my family and stuff, and we just had like a nice meal. And I haven't had like a proper nasty, dirty takeaway yet. But It's on the list. It's coming.
Good. I'm glad to hear it's on the list. London Demetrius says, I'm just giving an answer. Fabio is a champion, no experience, and it shows he's a warrior. So there you go.
Thank you.
There's lots of questions about Dave Allen.
Yes. I was waiting.
Mr. Yeah, I knew they were coming. Because obviously Dillian did put out earlier on that he'd like to see you fight Dave at the end of the year, I think. Mr. Blackash has asked, would Fabio be up for fighting Nick Webb or David Allen? And then there's loads of other people that are asking about Dave Allen.
Yeah, that was something me and Dill did a interview podcast thing with Sky today. And that was the question they asked as well. And Dill's usual reaction, like anyone that, like Eddie or anyone that has put my way, is like, yeah, like we'll go for them. And that's no disrespect to Dave or no disrespect to Nick at all. Like, I know both of them individually. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not best mates at all, but I have a half decent relationship with either of them. Like, I know them cool, and there's no issues between us. It is purely just business. And if they feel like the fight fits for them as well, like, I think the Dave one is something to happen later in the year. I think me and Dave both kind of have the same opinion on that. That if we see what happens with Dubois and Joyce and see how that goes, and if they vacate and leave the belt for free, then me and Dave can kind of vie for that. Because I know he's got his sights set on bigger things. He doesn't want to challenge me for the English. Mm-hmm. He wants something a bit bigger, which is fine. And obviously I'm moving forward as well. I'm moving up. So yeah, either me and Dave later this year, if we both had a few more fights, kind of built our profiles up a bit more, and that's definitely a fight I'd be interested in.
Good stuff. Right. There was an interesting one here that when I say, there's more after coming in. Someone has asked, Shots by Skinny has asked, Fabio, has Rob sorted out his safety visor yet? I don't know what that means though.
That means so in the middle of the fight, there's a where I told it, I was like, I can't catch you because your visor's on all wonky and that's all I'm looking at. I don't know what's going on. So what are you talking about?
They're going to hook up even more cameras and more mics now every time you fight because they know something's going to come, right? Okay, last one. I think this is your gym, right?
What's the gym?
Is it GF Suffolk Punch? Is that your gym?
I'm nervous.
They've asked, whose fault was it that you had 40 beers sent up to your room?
It was my coach's fault. I asked for 20 between 4 of us, which I thought was quite a normal amount. And somehow we ended up with 40.
Were they all drunk?
But they were all drunk.
Good. Well, there was no waste, so there's no problem, is there?
Yeah,
good stuff. Well, listen, thank you so much.
No worries.
I appreciate you giving me your time now that you are a celebrity and also heavyweight champion of the world.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to hearing next fight. We'll give you a little bit of time to relax and enjoy the English title. But yeah, really excited and well done. I'm really proud of you. Well done. You've done great. And it's so good to see so many people now talking about Fabio Wardley. It's great. It's really well deserved.
Appreciate that a lot.
Good stuff. Well, listen, have a good night. Thank you again.
You too.
Talk to you soon.
I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Later.